On today's episode of You Asked, sometimes Costco and other stores get TVs with different model numbers than everyone else. What's up with that? Are they really the same TV, and why do they get their own model numbers? How to know if you've just got FOMO or if it really is time to upgrade your OLED TV. Should you spend more money on a disc player for its superior upscaling? And what is the truth about why 8K content actually looks better than 4K content? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and this is You Asked, the show in which I answer questions you asked in hopes that I can help you and others with similar tech questions. If you have a question you need answered, please email it to youasked@digitaltrends.com, and we'll see if your question gets picked to be answered on the show, which you can join us for every Sunday at 7:45 a.m. Pacific time. Let's just dive right in. Joshua and Jim both messaged me about how Costco is selling a 98-inch TCL Q672G for about $1,500, noting that the deal comes with Costco's extended warranty and a $100 gift card as a bonus, sweetening the deal. The question is about why this model number seems to be exclusive to Costco and whether the TV is more or less the same as the Q651G seen at other retailers selling for right around the same price. Or might there be slight differences worth considering? This is a great question, so thank you guys. I'm going to start by talking fairly broadly about why we sometimes see these retailer exclusive models. And then I'm going to dig into the TCL Q672G specifically because I think that's a really interesting TV and definitely worth buying. Possibly a better choice than the 98-inch Q651G that we also see selling for $1,500. So first, why do we see these retailer exclusive models? Well, let's start by understanding that if you are Costco, you have a tremendous amount of buying power. Your business model is about moving a huge amount of goods. So you have both the money to buy a bunch of TVs and the ability to sell all of them. That puts you in a great place to ask for something special or to offer a TV at pricing that comes in lower than anyone else. Thing is, there are rules around minimum advertised pricing, or MAP, as it's known in the retail industry. See, TCL will mandate that a certain model TV cannot be advertised lower than a certain price. We call that the MAP. This helps prevent price gouging, and it keeps the market relatively competitive among retailers. However, if you are Costco, you can buy your way around those rules by telling a TV brand, hey, we're gonna buy a massive amount of TVs from you. That's gonna guarantee this massive minimum order quantity for the year, meaning you are gonna clean up. But part of the deal is you need to slap a unique model number on that TV, one that only we will get. And that way, we, Costco, can sell it for whatever price we want. We can create unique bundles with it. We can offer extended warranties on it in whatever way we desire. And we can also protect other retailers because this unique model number makes it exempt from price matching policies, which, by the way, is a two-way street. It also means that we don't have to price match someone else either. So you can see the long list of advantages that come with having your own model number from any number of brands. Probably can't do a lot of this kind of business, but pick your battles and you can make out like a bandit. And that's exactly what we have going on with this Q672G at Costco. Verified it with TCL. It is just the Costco exclusive variant of more or less the Q651G. Now, it is true that sometimes these custom models are more stripped down, but in this case, the Costco-only model appears to be more or less the same as the Q651G, save the fact that it is only available in 98 inches. It is also true that sometimes, pretty rarely, but sometimes that retailer exclusive model can even have extras that the most comparable model for other retailers doesn't have. Anyway, now you understand why they get these retailer exclusive models. And just remember, it's important to look closely at the spec sheets when comparing these TVs to see where any differences might exist. Christian writes, I recently started collecting more 4K Blu-rays, and DVDs, and now I'm looking to get a dedicated player for them. One of the main features that I'm looking for in a player is a good upscaler for my non-4K Blu-ray discs. But do I need a good upscaler if I'm using a higher-end TV like the LG C3? The upscaling on the C3 seems good to me, so do you think it would be worth buying a more expensive 4K Blu-ray player that has great upscaling capabilities versus a less expensive one that still has a solid feature set like Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and HDR10+. Hey Christian, so the upscaler in a higher end TV like the LG C3 is usually going to be at least as good, if not better, than the upscaler built into a high-end disc player. I would say choose the disc player based on other criteria like build quality, audio and video codec support, or other highly specific needs like advanced DACs for analog audio output, potentially better than what's built into your receiver. And guys, remember, outside of professional grade video devices, read not consumer video devices, the upscaler in a TV is almost always going to be better than what's built into a consumer level video device, be that a streaming box, a game console, etc. Grayson writes, does 8K native content on an 8K TV look better than 4K content on an 8K TV? People often state that it's impossible for human eyes to tell the difference. But if you go back, they often said the same thing about 4K when it was new. If it does matter, what size TVs does it start to become noticeable? I know 8K is still years away. I'd just like an expert to weigh in. Great question. So I'm going to talk about 8K resolution benefits from that screen size viewing distance perspective, but that is only a small part of my explanation about when and why 8K content might look better than 4K content, no matter what TV you're watching it on. So, as you can imagine, the much higher pixel density of an 8K display is really only meaningful if you're sitting perhaps unusually close to a really large display. So here's a quick little comparison chart that I put together for reference. As you can see, you have to be sitting almost laughably close to a 55 or 65-inch TV to be able to physically see any resolution benefit from 8K. Practically speaking, 8K is unlikely to benefit anyone until you start getting into screen sizes over 85 inches. But if you were sitting really, really close to a TV, like you might with a computer monitor, well, there are instances where you might be close enough to see pixels from 4K, but not from 8K. That's why I have long said that 8K makes little difference for TVs under 85 inches, and even then, only if you sit fairly close to the TV. However, resolution is only one factor among many that contributes to image quality. The upscaling process, even from something as high as 4K to 8K, is still hard. And so sometimes it's possible for 4K content to look better on a similarly equipped 4K TV than it would on an 8K model, upscaled to 8K. Here's the thing though, 8K content production has not been democratized in the same way that 4K content has. A lot of folks can now just pull out their phone and make 4K content. It's technically 4K, but that doesn't make it high quality content. For now, recording 8K native content takes a pretty expensive camera. And the folks who own those kinds of cameras also tend to be really good at making video. They take a lot of care when color grading that video. They will actively avoid applying too much compression. And quality 8K content will often have a higher bit depth too, which means better color information. In short, 8K native content, like the kind that you see on Eugene Belsky's channel on YouTube or Jennifer Galla's channel on YouTube, among some others, that content is super high quality for many reasons. The resolution? Relatively small part of it. So a big part of why native 8K content will look better on an 8K TV than upscaled 4K content is that the content itself is consistently of very high quality. But the other reason is that upscaling, even 4K to 8K, is a resource-intensive job. And even though upscaling 4K to 8K is easier than, say, upscaling 1080p to 4K, there's no getting around the fact that having information for every single pixel is almost always going to be better than making up information for 3 out of 4 pixels. Now you know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Zane writes, I currently have a 65-inch LG B2 OLED with a 5.1.3, I think that's a typo, 5.1.4 soundbar, and I see all kinds of praise of the best OLEDs, making me want to get one. I currently love my TV, and at times I find it blindingly bright and can't really fit anything larger. So with that in mind, I have 3 questions. 1, am I just having FOMO for considering getting something newer already? 2, would selling my TV to go towards a new one be a good idea? And 3, I know you have a lot of TVs on your plate, but I've never seen you review the LG B series TVs and think they're overlooked gems. Have you ever considered looking into them? When I jumped on my purchase, I was terrified because I couldn't find one on display anywhere and had to order online, and it was the best OLED I could get or afford at the time. Thankfully, it ended up being a good one. Hey Zane, this is a great series of questions. Thanks for sending them in. My hope here is to help folks understand when it actually makes sense to upgrade from an already awesome TV, specifically an OLED TV, which tends to be fundamentally awesome. So I'm going to answer your questions in the order received. The first question you asked was if you might just be having FOMO. And yeah, I think there's definitely a bit of that going on. FOMO and upgrade-itis, right? Like, if you are not being disappointed with your TV on a daily basis, then you probably don't need to upgrade. You want to upgrade because you love this stuff. It brings you joy, and it's exciting to think about this stuff and dream of getting something awesome. All of that is totally valid, okay? Some folks like to upgrade their cars. Some folks like to upgrade their kitchen appliances or cookware. Some folks like to upgrade their speakers. Some folks like to upgrade their computer accessories. Zeke. Folks, TVs are a hobby for some of us, and hobbies come with enthusiasm and upgrade-itis, and the constant pursuit of more excitement through new and improved gear. In fact, I know a lot of you out there watching right now probably bought a TV in the last couple of years, but you're still here watching this channel because this is fun stuff, right? So yeah, you're having a bit of FOMO and upgrade-itis, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Unless you are that way with like everything and you're spending frivolously and avoiding other core responsibilities. That is when I think hobbies can go too far. Number 2, would selling your TV toward a new one be a good idea? Honestly, Zane, I'm struggling to think of a scenario in which it would not be a good idea. You're proposing getting some money for something that you would no longer need to help you offset the cost of upgrading. I mean, unless you have a use for that TV elsewhere, yes, sell it and use what you can get for it to offset the upgrade cost. Otherwise, you just have a TV collecting dust, and that ain't worth much, is it? And the third thing was about my never reviewing the LG B series OLEDs and the fact that they are overlooked gems, and have I ever considered looking into them? I would agree with you, they are often overlooked. I have not been able to make time for them in my review schedule, and yes, I do consider bringing them in for review all the time. With all of that said, I think I am for sure going to bring in the latest LG B series OLED TVs this year, if for no other reason, because Sansui is coming to the US market with competitively priced OLED TVs, and I think it's important to see what you get for spending a bit more from LG's B series. In the past, the price difference between the C series and the B series has not been significant enough to warrant special attention because the price of all of them, all the OLEDs, was well into the premium tier. So if you were gonna spend that kind of money, might as well get the only slightly more expensive, higher performance model. But times have changed, so I think the B series is gonna be more attractive than ever. And yeah, LG isn't pushing that model super hard, so they are more likely to display the more expensive, higher margin C and G series in the coveted retail spaces that they are afforded at places like Best Buy. This studio isn't a showroom exactly, but I will make more room to show you TVs like the B series. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. New episodes air every Sunday at 7:45 a.m. Pacific time, with lots of other great content coming out throughout the week. If you want to support the channel, please like, subscribe, and hop into the comments section. I'd love to see you there. I'll for sure see you on the next one, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like. Zane writes, I currently have a 65-inch Oh, come on.